West Ham will be looking to continue our excellent recent form when we host Aston Villa at the London Stadium on Monday night. West Ham have lost just one of our last 7 games despite facing tough fixtures in that run, and we have risen to 8th place. I think it's 8th place depending on the results again today, Matt. I think it is. Can you hear me okay? You're stressing me out, Matt. You are stressing me out, Matt. When you can't hear me, you stress me out. That is 1 place and 1 point, though, below our opponents, whose form has slipped after a terrific start to the campaign. Dean Smith's men have lost 3 of the last 4 in the Premier League, but did earn a superb win against Arsenal on the last visit to the capital. I'm Anton. I'm joined by Matt. Matt, Aston Villa, thoughts?
They're a different team this year, aren't they? I think, much like ourselves, they've got... I mean, they spent big money. Unlike us, they spent big money in the summer. Brought in some really good players, and they play really good attacking football now, so... Forget the games last year. I know sometimes you look on the previous fixtures, but they're an entirely different team this year, and I think they're going to do well. They're really good going forward. Score a lot of goals.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. Well, listen, this is our preview, and when we do our preview, we always love to bring an opposition fan on. So, without further ado, shall we do it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's welcome Nilesh. Nilesh, you're from the Villains Together. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, 100%, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on. It's always good to have an opposition fan on and hear their points of view, etc. Nilesh, do you want to give the fans a little bit about your what group you're part of, etc., and just go from there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm part of a group and founder of a group called Villains Together. We formed about 3 years ago, and basically it's quite simple what we try and do in football. We try and get people from all backgrounds to attend Villa Park, and we try and kick out racism as well. And what we try and do is people have a perception about the game. We try and encourage them to come to Villa Park and experience the Villa Park experience and the match day experience, and get that perception away and get them to enjoy the game, basically. That's what we try and do. And we've taken groups to Villa Park and they've enjoyed it. It's been really good.
Yeah, really, really interesting, mate. I think it's good. It's always nice when you've got just people supporting each other, isn't it? It's just always good when you've got a group of people wanting to help each other and get the best out. And it's just nice when people have that vibe of being together, especially during these tough times as well, isn't it, Nilesh?
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And it's really good. And one of the things we love doing and we love to see when we do these things is people's reaction after the game. We've taken someone down for the first time to Villa Park, and the reaction after the game, they absolutely love it. I mean, one of the things we did when West Ham came to Villa Park last season was we took 12 ladies. Oh, no, actually, it was 17 ladies who run a community centre across the road from Villa Park. And they wore claret hijabs and came to Villa Park for the first time, and they loved it. Absolutely amazing day they had.
Yeah,
really changed their perception of the game. So it was really good.
Yeah, really good work you're doing there as well. And listen, on top of that, what a season you're having. I mean, I know the last few games haven't been as great as maybe the start of the season, but where are you at with it all, and in particular your manager Dean Smith?
I think if you speak to in terms of Dean Smith, if you speak to any Villa fan right now, Dean Smith is everything we wanted in a manager right now for Aston Villa. He's a Villa fan. He always has been. He loves the club through and through, and he's a fans person as well. He'll always take his time out to speak to the fans. But in terms of the way he is, in terms with the squad and that, he's been brilliant. He took over us, in the Championship, and then we went on to a 10-game unbeaten run. He made Jack Grealish the captain. He got us promoted, kept us up last season, and he's doing really good this season as well. So we couldn't be happier, to be honest, with Dean Smith.
Yeah, Matt. I mean, listen, coming in from a West Ham's point of view, what's your view? I know you mentioned it at the start, but in particular of Dean Smith's recruitment, I suppose you could say, in the summer, and how much he's had an impact on Villa in the Premier League.
Oh, he's bought. I mean, we spoke about in summer that we had a lot of positions we needed filling. We didn't really fill them. Like Dean Smith literally said, we need this, we need this, we need this thing when they got it. I mean, Ollie Watkins, we needed a striker, but they had the money and bought him. And he's worked out, he's hit the ground running. The goalkeeper, Martinez, won the FA Cup with Arsenal. It looked like he was going to be their first team keeper. Found out he wasn't. They snapped him up. It was a fantastic signing. They strengthened in the key areas they needed. And, they brought in Ross Barkley on loan. I don't think he's available this weekend, but him and Grealish, between the two of them, they've been tearing up the league. And you said when they've had, with Watkins in front of them, it's core of English players and they've been scoring goals. Like, they've been brilliant to watch.
Nonetheless, it's one player in particular that we always talk about, because we were linked to him in the summer, was Ollie Watkins. I mean, what's your description? 6 goals this season so far.
He's been fantastic. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. When we signed him, obviously we looked at his goals and stuff at Brentford, and obviously he was scoring really, really well there. He's playing really well, but making the step up to the Premier League was always that one where, is he going to do well? Is he not? But I've always said this. Seeing him play at the moment in the Premier League, it looks like he's already played a season in the Premier League. The way he's playing, and he scored against some top oppositions as well. He's very, very intelligent with the ball, especially when he's doing his assists as well to the other players. So we're really pleased with him. Really pleased.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. But on top of that, like Matt said, you've got, there's a player there in Ross Barkley who I think I think initially we're thinking he might be missing the game on Monday, but I don't know if there's a bit of chat that he might be in and around. What do you know? Ross Barkley?
What I do know, I think he's out for a couple of weeks, to be honest, and I don't think he'll be playing tomorrow. I mean Monday. He won't be playing Monday. It's a massive blow for us, if I'll be honest with you. He's been really, really good, really positive as well. And he looks like his link-up play with Jack Grealish has been brilliant. So he's a massive loss, to be honest.
To be honest with you, Nilesh, like the two players we're talking about here, Grealish and Barkley, that connection, that what they've created in the middle of that park it's a phenomenal partnership. And a lot of teams do fear that. And you kind of, what you saw in particular against Liverpool was that fear set in. Now, Liverpool were not struggling with their injuries at the time. They were missing their main goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, they still had their solid back four defenders. Virgil van Dijk was there. They never had the injuries. And you carved them open like you were slicing some bread. It was unbelievable. It really was.
It was great to watch, honestly. I mean, we were watching that game, and it was a joy to watch Jack Grealish and Barkley play the way they played that day. It was excellent. But we also on that day, Matty Cash, another person who stepped up from the Championship, also played really, really well. Didn't put a foot wrong in that game at all. And you're talking about people who've stepped up into the Premier League and then playing like that against the champions of the Premier League. Unbelievable. It was unbelievable game. Just gutted we weren't there.
I know it is. It's getting to that. It's been at that point for so long. Matt, there was another player that Nilesh mentioned there was Matty Cash, another West Ham link that we had. And you know what? Could have done with, fortunately we've signed a good player, I suppose you could say, in that position. But, when you think of Barkley and Grealish, you've got Grealish on 4 goals this season. He's also with 5 assists so far. Ollie Watkins has got 6 goals. Ross Barkley's got 2 goals. Grealish is, like I said, 5 assists. Then you've got to make matters worse. John McGinn. he's a proper terror in the midfield, isn't he, Nilesh?
He's an engine in that midfield, an absolute engine, and he can score as well. He's great. Villa fans love him. John McGinn's been brilliant, and for the amount we brought him for, he's an absolute bargain. I can't imagine what he'd be worth now.
Yeah, I mean, he's the kind of player that I look at sometimes, and I think he's got a reasonable awkward style about him. He doesn't look like a naturally gifted footballer, but because he's got the heart of gold. There's something in it, like, maybe the him and the Robert Snodgrass, and I know you've got quite a good affiliation with Robert Snodgrass at the time he was on loan with you, and obviously now he's at West Ham, but. I always think of John McGinn. Is he one of those players that kind of goes under the radar, but he's so important to Villa?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you know what? Even last season, he was really important, but he missed quite a bit as well because he had an injury. Then he came back during the lockdown period, and you could see he still wasn't the same. But it was John McGinn that we needed, and he's a player that we need in our side constantly. He runs so much; it's unbelievable. So he's such a great player to have.
Yeah.
And I think, sorry.
Oh no, sorry. I was just about to say to Matt there, Matt, how do you rate that kind of when you look at Villa in particular? I mean, from the start of the season, Matt, did we actually? Were you fearing Villa? But you couldn't help but look at their recruitment and think, yeah, there was some really good business there. In particular, Ollie Watkins, because I think West Ham fans are all desperate for a goal-scoring striker. I know we've got Antonio. We'll talk about him in a minute. But you've got a naturally born goal scorer. Yes, okay, scoring in the Championship, but so far so good. He's got his 6 goals this season. Matt, I mean, what do you fear the most about that kind of forward line?
Well, they got options because we've spoken about Watkins, but we haven't even spoken about Traore, who played the Champions League last year.
Yeah,
they've got options. They've got centre forwards. They've got wingers, they've got pace, they've got trickery. You've got that genius of Ross Barkley. They are really good going forward. And it's just a bit like us. They just had to sort their defence out and they'll score goals. And that is it this year. A lot of teams, everyone seems to be scoring goals, no one can defend. So, you've got Mings at the back. If you can sort your defence out and they brought in a goalkeeper, which is one of their big problems last year, they're going to do well. Rotation they've got, you've got people like Trezeguet on the wing. El Mhavi, if he comes in, like you said, John McGinn running the midfield from the centre, which his work almost allows Grealish to do his. And then you've got Diaz? Is it Diaz, the holding midfielder?
Douglas Luiz.
Douglas Luiz, sorry, yeah, Douglas Luiz, the holding midfielder they got from Man City.
Do you know what? He's been brilliant. He has as well, Douglas Luiz. In the lockdown period towards the end of last season, he was one of our star support players. He was really needed in the squad, and he done wonders for us. And he's playing really well as well. I'm pleased for him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, do you know what? It's good to see Villa back. There's no ifs or buts about it. It's nice to see it back. It's just unfortunate we can't get to the stadium, so we can travel away, or you can come to the most exciting stadium in the world, the London Stadium, not. Nilesh, when you're looking in at West Ham, what's your thoughts from an opposition's point of view, looking in at West Ham?
When I look at West Ham, I look at Antonio up front, and you know what? He's dangerous. I mean, when we played West Ham last season in lockdown period, he almost scored as well. And I thought when he did almost score, I was like, that was a let-off, But yeah, I mean, for me, he's a very, very good player. He's a handful up front, very strong. And you look at him, he looks like the player for West Ham at the moment. He's on form.
Yeah.
And you've got some great players in the middle, Declan Rice. I mean, I like Declan Rice very much. He's a player, real big talent, and I'm glad he stayed at West Ham because he's still showing this season that he's a very good player. He's done well for England as well.
Yeah, 100%. Like, I don't know where we'd be, to be honest, without Declan Rice. Matt, would you? I mean, I literally have no idea where we'd be. But, Villa's season so far is they've played 8, they've won 5, they've lost 3 games, of which 3 of those games have came, in the last month and a half, isn't it? Because I think you started off the season unbeaten. You were sitting top of the league for a while. I mean, you must be looking down at everyone else thinking, what is going on? There's all those big clubs down there. I mean, I'm not saying Aston Villa are not, but you know what I mean. Like, all the clubs that are expected to be at the top. Did you think this fairy tale would continue, or it still can continue because it's got that vibe of a season, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the season is really unpredictable at the moment. But yeah, when we were at that stage and we were at the top, and it was good. It was really refreshing to see, especially when we didn't even know last season we were going to stay up or not. So to be in that position this season was amazing, and still to be in this position right now, it is still amazing. And I think the only thing we need to do now is have a consistent performance ongoing. And that's what we need now. We need to figure that out.
Yeah. So, Nilesh, if we have a look at the team that you put out last, which was against Brighton, you got beat. Matt, I mean, as well, jump in on this. I'm going to take that banner away. That's the team you started with. What can we expect to change? Obviously, we think that Barkley will be out. What kind of big changes will that have an effect on you?
I don't think much will change. I think that obviously Barkley's gonna be changed. I think Conor Houlihan will come in for Barkley. Personally, I think Conor's got a great left foot, and he'll slot straight in there, which is which I think will happen. I don't think the back four will not change. Trezeguet will stay, Grealish will stay, McGinn, Watkins will obviously stay, and Luiz. I just think the only change will be Barkley, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at that, Matt, I mean, there's players there. I mean, I do like Mings. I've always kind of liked Tyrone Mings as well. I don't know what your thought is, Nilesh, on him being. Is there other fan base mixed opinion on Mings?
No, do you know what? I think Mings. He was sensational for us in the Championship, and exactly what we needed. And you could see how much Mings loved the club. So, it was great to have him on a permanent basis afterwards. And everybody was delighted with that. I think he needed a season because as soon as he got to the Premier League last season, he got called up to the England squad. And I think what he needed was just that season of Premier League football. Now, this season, he looks a lot better. He looks like he's commanding more, and he looks like a great defender now, and he's playing well for England as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Same question to yourself, Matt. I mean, when you look at that kind of starting lineup, who are the players that you kind of fear the most within that team?
Well, I suppose, you don't want to, the obvious one is Jack Grealish. You know what he's going to be like on that left hand side, cutting in on his right foot. Conor Houlihan, he said, come in. He has got a banging left foot. He's got a brilliant set piece on him. So that gives them another option. Obviously, Watkins running in behind. And like I said, they got cover in front of the back four as well with, McGinn and Luiz. So it's not going to be an easy game.
Yeah.
I know we've played all the big teams, but this will be a hard game on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think every game comes at all different stages, and West Ham have been playing well, but again, Matt, we know it depends on what West Ham turns up, and it's probably similar, Nilesh, when you think of Aston Villa. You can go 1 minute and beat Liverpool 7-2, and then turn up against Brighton and get beat 2-1. No disrespect to Brighton, but then Brighton got a great result against Liverpool today, 1 each, wasn't it? So
yeah, last-minute penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah. It just shows the way the league is going, though, and people are trying to grind out results and getting it there. But do you see yourselves being okay this season, Nilesh, and where do you see Villa kind of ending up come the end of the season?
I think we'll be fine. I don't think we'll get relegated whatsoever. For me, if we finish 12th, 11th, 10th would be great. I think that'd be a great season for us, and that's realistic. Anything above that is a massive bonus, and we'll take it. But I can't see us, finishing the bottom half of the table. I think we're definitely going to be like okay now. We've got our recruitment's been a lot better this season.
Yeah.
And even the players that we bought last season have improved this season as well because they've had that season in the league.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Listen, before we even get onto like predictions and stuff like that, let's have a look at the history between the two clubs. So I'm going to bring up some stats, and it's a stat in all games throughout the whole history between the two clubs.
Just go back.
That takes into consideration all the fixtures we've played, League Cup, in the league, FA Cup, etc. I don't know if it actually includes though the famous game, Matt and Nilesh, you'll probably remember it, where we had to replay Aston Villa because West Ham fielded an eligible player, Emmanuel Omeniemini.
That was a tough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a semi. No, was it quarterfinal or semi-final?
I have a feeling it was a semi-final. Was it a semi? I thought it was a semi-final.
I have a feeling it's a semi-final.
No, it wasn't.
Was it quarterfinal?
It was quarters going into the semis, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who was your manager then?
Oh, who was that? Oh, good question. Oh, who was that? It wasn't. Was it Redknapp?
I want to say Redknapp. Yeah.
It was Redknapp.
So I do remember that. Yeah.
I don't know if it takes into consideration the first game, because in theory that game had to get replayed. So it'll be interesting. It's a good stat to look into. Nilesh, before we do predictions, you've said who you fear the most from West Ham. Who's the man that West Ham should fear the most from Villa?
It's got to be Jack. Definitely Jack. He's a joy to watch at the moment. People probably think that I'm a broken record when I say this, but I think he's the best player in the league right now in terms of in his position. I don't think there's anyone playing better than him at the moment. And people want to see people like Jack play. Fans do as well, and which is so encouraging. So I think Jack is going to be the one that you guys need to fear, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. What about yourself, Matt? When it comes to Villa, who is it? Would you say it's the same, or where are you at with it?
I'd go Watkins because he does stuff we don't like doing. He likes running in behind. We don't like running backwards.
Yeah.
Grealish, for all his play, will play in front of you, and we're kind of happy at the moment with teams that play in front of us. We can defend in front, but when people going behind, we struggle. So for me, it'd be Watkins getting on to the end of Grealish that I worry about. So I say Watkins.
Nilesh, then on Watkins, what kind of player is he? I mean, we know he's got goals this season. We know he's got 3 and 1, but is he a hard-working centre forward? How would you describe him?
Yeah, he's a bit of a mixture, to be honest. He can hold the ball up. He's hard-working, and if he gets a chance, he'll finish as well. You could see that he's got that strength as well in the Liverpool game when he scored that goal. He scored his first goal there, and he's got that. And he's very good with his head as well. He will get the goals with his head as well, and he seems like an all-round player at the moment. And I'm not just saying this because I'm a Villa fan. He is honestly a joy to have at the club at the moment. Really is, especially coming from the lower league of Championship. Coming up, it's always going to be difficult in your first season, but he seems to have hit the ground running.
It's going to be interesting, actually. The more I think about this game, the more I'm starting to think that I wonder if this game is going to be the battle of the midfield again, Matt. West Ham have got Declan Rice, Souček. You've got quite a strong midfield when you talk about McGinn. I know Barkley won't make it, Grealish, and then a good forward line. And we're going to have to protect our back line from that attacking prowess. Of course, if Antonio's back, we don't know what's going to be happening with West Ham's starting lineup. But it's definitely going to be an interesting one. So I suppose it brings us to the interesting time, Nilesh. What's your predictions for the Monday night?
You guys have bigged us up quite a bit, but I don't think it's going to be an easy game against West Ham at all. I think David Moyes has done a great job with the team at the moment, and they're going to be tough to beat. So I am going for a 1-0 win, and I did say it yesterday on our podcast. I think McGinn might score the goal tomorrow. But yeah, I'll go for a 1-0 win.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not. And you've probably seen I put a comment up there actually from earlier on. Someone said, wish you all the best for the future, but as long as it's after Monday night. Of course, we expect nothing else. Also, let's bring up some of the recent games. That's from the last game we drew at the end of last season, where obviously, you drew the game and that's what saved you for in the Premier League. It's kind of pretty even, really, to be honest. When you look at it, there's a few wins and losses for both clubs, and a mixture of a draw, and that showed in this full-time stats, the full lifetime stats of West Ham and Villa. But it's going to be an interesting game on Monday night, and we look forward to it. And fingers crossed that West Ham can get the 3 points. Matt, you want anything you want to say before Nilesh heads off, or?
No, I was going to say it's been a pleasure to have him on. We always enjoy opposition fans coming on, and the work you're doing with the community, with the supporters group, I think it's fantastic, and it's an example of what the rest of the league should be doing, to be honest.
No, I mean, thank you guys, for having me on. I always love talking football, so it's great to talk football, especially with the other fans as well, and it's great to hear your opinions on Villa and stuff. So it's brilliant. So yeah, cheers, guys, brilliant stuff.
Well, Nilesh, thank you very much for joining us. Myself and Matt are going to go off into a whole new world of talking West Ham, and you probably don't want to get bored with that. So thanks for joining us. So Nilesh is from the Villains
Together.
We'll put the link in the description below. Go and check them out. And I'll chat with you, Nilesh, soon, and we'll get a kind of date in the diary, and we'll talk about stuff about YouTube, all that sort of stuff as well.
Awesome, mate. Appreciate that. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Just make it easy.
Matt,
so again, great again to have opposition on. It's going to be an interesting one though, Monday. It does make me question whether this battle will be won or lost, and I can't help but think this game has got that midfield battle all over it.
Yeah, it's going to be ones where it's either both midfields. It depends how the midfields play, because they've got the opportunity there for have one sitting and one attacking the same as us, but they could both sit, and it's going to be a tactical battle between the managers and tactics.
Yeah,
because they've got Douglas Luiz who will sit. We've got obviously Rice. They've got John Milligan who can get up and down, much like we got Souček. So it's sort of similar tactics, similar formations. Obviously, they play with the 4-2-3-1, whereas we play with the 3-4-3, as it were. There's going to be battles on the wings. They've got the fullbacks, Target and Cash. I think it's a very evenly matched team, and it might just come down to who gets the better tactics on the day.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Listen, before we move on any further, let's have a look and see what the gaffer has had to say. What I did mean to say to everyone that's watching is we are bringing you the preview a couple of days early. We normally go out the night before the game, but because of the West Ham Weekly, and we do have a little bit of sympathy towards Stell because he's had to move a lot of his shows. I think he was getting fed up moving his shows, so we thought, do you know what? We'll give you your dues. We'll give you your show back on a Sunday night. Myself and Matt will do the preview the night 2 nights before. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you do leave comments and give us your feedback on the channel. We've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We're going to be talking West Ham in a minute, and we will be coming on to the Moyes. He's not done this press conference, but we've got some information about what he has been saying on the lead up to this. But make sure we've got some exciting stuff coming up over the next, hopefully, few weeks. So let's talk about David Moyes. He's talking here about Aston Villa. I watched them against Arsenal, and they were really, really good. It shows you how far they've come on as a club. I think the recruitment's been excellent over the summer, and it's given them a great chance of improving from where they were last year, which is what we've kind of said, Matt, innit? Yeah, have I lost you again? Hold on a second, Matt. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Going, you're right.
We've had a lot of confidence really from the start. We felt as if we've played well, and we've been improving, which is what I want us to do. I see the daily improvement in training. I see the standards improving, and with that, our victories have come, and we've got some big points from what has been a really difficult opening period of fixtures. What do you think of that one, Matt?
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment. I mean, we did have, let's not forget everyone wrote us off after the first game of the season. And, results, it starts on the training pitch, doesn't it? Playing well in the team. I think it's fair about Villa as well. I think, like we said, they had a flying start to the season. They've had some really good results, and That's always Moyes, though, isn't it? He's always complimentary yet elusive. He doesn't like giving anything away, but he likes to give credit where it's due. It seems to be a recurring theme of his interviews.
Yeah, 100%. Here's another one. We've been creating a lot of chances, but have only got a couple of goals in our last 2 games. One of our targets was to try and improve defensively and keep clean sheets. And thankfully, we're showing that side of our game as well. 100% he is, mate, isn't it? I mean, I think so far this season, we are on our 4th clean sheet out of 9 games. So that's definitely improvement. We've only conceded 10 in 9 games. Again, another piece of improvement, scoring 15 goals.
Well, he's not defensive, is he? He's cautious, and honestly, you need to build from the back forward because even under Pellegrini, under Bilic, we always scored goals. Scoring goals has never been the problem. It was keeping the clean sheets. And so, realistically, whoever came in when Moyes came in, as long as they sorted out the defence, they do all right. And Moyes has come in and he has done that. He's changed formation, he's changed players, but he's found a system that works, and we're keeping the clean sheets, which we don't normally do. I don't have the stat on me, but I know we didn't keep a lot of clean sheets last year, especially before Project Restart. I think I saw somewhere that Fabianski only had he's as many clean sheets this year as he had last year.
Yeah.
And we're only 9 games in.
And another point he was talking about was Aaron Cresswell, the resurgence of Cresswell. Aaron has been excellent for us on both occasions I've been here. He's played very well. He's getting to the age of maturity where he's understanding the game better and his reading of it, and he's playing very well. Do you think Aaron Cresswell got a bit of his criticism? It wasn't right that he got the criticism at the time that he did, but I mean, you can't fault the way he's been performing as of late, have you? Can you really?
Well, ever since he had that injury, he's never been the same for his quickness. We all know that Cresswell's a good defender. He just hasn't got the pace. It's much like we always say, the old age argument of the 4-4-2 with Masuaku and Cresswell. It's like Cresswell's a better defender, but he gets absolutely rinsed. Masuaku's got the pace, but he doesn't have the defensive intelligence. So changing to this system where there's other players still around him, and he's not expected to go out onto the flank and defend, sort of brings out the best in Cresswell's positives and hides all his negatives. So it's no wonder resurgence, and especially now that we play the same sort of formation that England play, he could get a recall to England squad. Realistically, actually, he's probably competing today, or should I say on Monday night, against the guy he's probably playing for the squad position for, which is Tyrone Mings, because they're both left-footed, should we say, centre-backs.
Yeah. Well, listen, that's the end of what the gaffer said. But listen, can you spot anyone in there, Matt? Who can you spot?
I don't know. Who am I looking for?
Oh, come on, mate. Who have we been missing the last couple of weeks? So I'll make it easier for you.
Oh, Snoddy. Snoddy's right there, yeah.
No, mate, I'll make it easy for you. Ready? You ready? There he is. The big man himself is back in training. I think Moyes is kind of hinting at the fact that he could be available, although let's be realistic, mate. He's not going to start, is he?
Moyes, no.
And before you answer that question, Matt, get your comments in below and let us know, do you think, 2 questions to you, do you want Antonio to start? And do you think Moyes will start him? Go, Matt. Sorry.
No, he's not going to start. He's not going to start Antonio, is he? I mean, we've said about this before. In fairness, he rewards playing well, doesn't he? He rewards fixtures, results, and playing well. Haller scored last game. He didn't get much in the way of service. Took a cracking goal, and we won and kept a clean sheet. So realistically, Moyes isn't going to just up and change the formation or the team. I mean, there's people have been saying maybe put Antonio up front with Haller, which would probably get more out of Haller, but then you've got to change formation. Also, we've only got 2 centre forwards, so it's a different risk entirely if he does decide to play the 2 of them up front together. I'd like to see him play up front because you think back to the games last year when they played up front together, that we were tearing teams apart. But we'd always do it and then go back to 1 up front. That being said, I mean, like I said, we've won 2-0. Well, sorry, we won 1-0 twice on the bounce. That team will start again, won't it? Until Haller has a bad game where he doesn't score, then Antonio will come back in. But it's probably good to not rush Antonio back because we know what his hamstrings are like.
Yeah.
So and we always make this mistake, don't we? If an injured player gets thrown back in, they play a little bit and get injured again. So if we can give him that bit of time to gently bring it back in, it'd probably be better for Antonio and for the longevity of the season.
100%, mate. Listen, for me personally, I think we need to really. I do think we've learnt the lesson about bringing players back too early, and I do think that. I don't think we'll see Antonio start. I think we may see a little bit of something at some point in the game. Will that be to the detriment of Sebastian Haller? I don't know, mate. I really don't know. I think that Haller will start because I think the goal will do him the world of good, and his performance the other day will do him the world of good, and confidence as well, and it'll do the rest of the team the world of good. We want all players firing on all cylinders. When it comes to, well, of course, when it comes to West Ham, but don't risk him. We don't risk him at all, and there's no need for him to start really this game. But if he's needed, then we bring him on if he's needed. And like people are saying in the comments, Kent saying last 20, Jones saying, where is it? Jones saying Haller and Antonio to start. I think eventually it'd be something to look for, but I don't think for this game in particular. I'd be keen for that. I think if Antonio was on the bench, it'll be the earliest sub Moyes has made. But it'll be an interesting one. Let's have a look at the lineup that we had last time out against Sheffield United. It was a better victory than the Fulham game. We played better. It was like more of a professional performance rather than trying to grind the result over. But it's definitely, again, you feel like it's going to be interesting because we never saw Benrahma at all the last game. So, I know, and this is not the Benrahma show. I don't want people to think that. And we know the way that Moyes works, but what do you see happening? Is he going to change anything at all?
If he does change anything, it could be one of Bowen or Fornals. Neither of them played, and I've seen a lot on social media this week. A lot of people have been pulling them out. Neither of them had a bad game against Sheffield United. They both just made wrong decisions at wrong times. There was times when they should have passed it and they didn't, and then they were shooting when they,
Well, can I ask a question? No, not ask a question. I'm interjecting at this point here because I stayed on a part of the review last week and I couldn't finish the full review, and I heard kind of, and not just yourself, I'm not saying you were slagging them off, but I felt like I seen a lot on social media about Bowen and he made a couple of wrong decisions. I don't deny that he did make a couple of wrong decisions, but I don't think it's enough to drop Bowen because I think Bowen's really effective, to be honest, when he's firing on all cylinders, when he's getting the support mechanism down that wing. He's not scored a couple of goals, he's not set up a couple of goals for a little while. But to be fair, when he has been playing well, he was getting substituted off early. It was maybe the wrong substitutions at the time. And that could have a little knock-on effect to a player with his ability. I know he should have passed through and Haller could have got his chance. But to be fair, mate, he's only played with Haller, apart from last season, this season, 2 or 3 times, because all these players are having to adjust to a different striker again. And this is why I think it would be extremely harsh on Haller to be dropped for this game. And also, Matt, unless Haller is having an absolute stinker, subbed at all during this game. I think he needs another 90 minutes. I think he needs it. He needs as long as he can get on that park.
I think he'll get it unless if we go like 2-0 down with half an hour to go and he hasn't touched the ball.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, but he does. The thing is as well, like I know some players do have the ability, but not everyone has the ability to turn it on and off. So I think really Haller should get as long as he can. We saw with that goal that he said, "Give me service, I'll score." Yeah, you're right. The players do need to learn to gel and bond, you'd like to think they've done that in training. But
is this the man?
I wasn't picking on Bowen. It's just like you could take with 4 hours as well. To be fair, I was just giving an example like that because realistically, if you're going to look at someone like Benrahma, that's the 2 positions you're looking at him to come in. Would be one of them two. But having said that, I probably wouldn't start Benrahma today, Monday.
Well, I was just about to say to you though, is this the man? Is this the man that can provide Sebastian Haller with the service? I don't think he is going to start. I do think we might see him in this game at some point, whereas we didn't see him the last game. We saw him making an appearance against Fulham, not an appearance against Sheffield United. But I do think we'll probably get to see a bit more of a run out of him, because I think it's kind of, we have to start thinking about the fact that we've got a lot of games coming up. We're coming into a crazy campaign of games, and we're going to have to start using a little bit of squad rotation, to be honest, mate.
Oh, we will. Like we said last week, didn't we? I think we've got 7 games in like 23 days or something stupid over Christmas. You know, there's one week where we literally play 3 games in 7 days.
Well, I think here we go now. So we've got Villa on Monday, which is the 30th. Then the following Saturday, we've got Manchester United.
It's the week after that.
The following Friday, the Friday is Leeds. 5 days later is Palace. 5 days later is Chelsea. 6 days later Brighton. 2 days later Southampton. 3 days later Everton. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7, about 7 or 8 games there that we're going to need to use our squad, mate. We're going to need to use our squad. Yeah.
So Benrahma will get his chance. I think, you know, you have to pick and choose when you play certain players, and I think tomorrow you may need the more workman-like players because of the way Aston Villa play. You know, it might be better off Benrahma coming off the bench, but actually give him like half an hour when players start getting leggy, rather than just leaving him sitting on the bench and not bringing him on at all. Yeah. You know, whereas I would have said last week against Sheffield United would have been a game to play Benrahma. You know, I think they've got attacking fullbacks. They've got big Grealish and probably Trezeguet again on the wings. But because let's not forget, Moyes likes players that put in the effort and run the distance, and you will get that from Bowen and Fornals. I'm not saying you won't get it from Benrahma, but Ben would much prefer to do the attack rather than defending, whereas Fornals are like doing both.
Yeah.
And has just dropped out of the stream. Interesting.
Don't worry, I'm here, mate. I clicked a button and I chucked myself out.
Just absolutely dropped yourself out there.
I chucked myself out. Before we move on to the next part, I want everyone just to get your comments in and let me know your starting 11 for the game against Aston Villa on Monday night. So, to make our life easier, Matt, let me bring up the squad or the team we had, as I've done earlier on against Sheffield United. Do you see any changes to that, mate?
I think it's going to be the same team, isn't it?
I do as well.
Moyes has proven his track record. I don't think there'll be any changes.
Yeah, I completely agree with you as well. And I think what we may see, I feel like I've been saying it every week, but we may see a bit of the introduction of maybe more. Well, listen, one player we haven't spoken about, one player I desperately want to speak to you about, actually, and I've not actually got his image, is the impact that Lanzini made when he came off the bench. Now, this is an interesting one I wanted to say to you, because the Lanzini I saw come off the bench, Matt, was a glimpse of the Lanzini that we bought, and the reason why we had him that first season, the last season at Upton Park. Mate, he was dropping the shoulder. He was up for it. He was chasing that ball down. He's pushing himself further into team selection. And you could question whether or not Moyes may favour him right now over Benrahma coming on the park. And it might not have an impact on the starting lineup yet, but we do know Moyes has got a little bit of a favouritism towards Lanzini. Get your comments and let me know your thoughts on Lanzini. Matt, what do you think?
It's a difficult one because I don't like playing him on the wing, because I think again, same as Creswell, since he's had his injury, I don't think he's got that little bit of sharpness. So, like, you know, when you look at the game against Sheffield United, when Lanzini came on, he sort of tucked in, didn't he? He wasn't really on the wing. It was just sort of Masuaku left there on his own. And Lanzini sort of tucked in more towards Haller, which does give Haller more options to pass to. It does work, but it does sort of. I saw a comment the other day. I don't know where it was. Creswell done an interview. It might have been on the club website, and he spoke about how Moyes alters the formation ever so slightly based on who we're playing. Because it can be a 3 at the back, it can be a 5 at the back, it can be a 4 at the back. And he said how Moyes has worked on tweaking it during the game. So playing a Lanzini, you would sort of tuck him inside more, and that becomes more like, say, a 3-5-2.
Yeah.
I just don't like him because I don't think he's got the pace. But there's talent there. We know there's talent there. It's just trying to find it. And like you said, Moyes has his favourites. Moyes has always liked him. Same as Masuaku, in fairness. He came back in when we weren't thinking he should have played. And in fairness, he got it right.
Yeah.
But I don't think... you could probably take... I mean, the subs bench will probably change. Because, you've got to try and fit Antonio in. I don't know if Yarmolenko's available or not.
I don't think he actually is. No, I think he still is. He? Oh no, maybe. No, I think he's still got 14. Well, I don't know what the rules are for Premier League players. I think it's slightly changed. I think you can provide 2 negative tests after a certain date, and then you can come back a little bit earlier. But I'm not too sure, to be honest. But to be honest, even if he is back, I don't particularly see him coming off the bench potentially as much, because this game could be won again off the bench as well, Matt. This could be, if Haller's not performing well, Antonio's on the bench, he can come on and be impactful. On top of that, we've got Lanzini, Benrahma, creative players. On top of that, we've got Yarmolenko, creative players. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. Loads of people in here saying, most of them think that that it'll be the same starting lineup. So, I will come on to the comments in a minute. But before we do move on to those comments, I want everyone to come into the comments and let us know the most interesting part of the show, which is the predictions for the game Monday night. So to summarise, myself and Matt don't think there'll be many changes to West Ham's starting 11. To summarise the Aston Villa starting 11, we think there's going to be one change. Barkley looks like he's not going to make the game, but they're going to replace him with what's his name?
Possibly Conor Hourihane.
Yeah, and he's got a decent left peg on him, and he can cause issues, etc. up there. So with that knowledge, Matt, give me your predictions for the game on Monday night.
I'm going for a 2-2.
Come on, Matt. Come on.
There's going to be a lot of goals in this game.
Yeah,
I can see it, because we both know that every now and again we defensively have a shocker.
Yeah,
Villa's record in defence recently hasn't been good, and we're both scoring goals. So my heart says 2-1. My head says 2-2. I'll
give Villa a goal, but I think we're going to score 3, and I think it's going to be 3-1 West Ham. I'll tell you why. I do genuinely believe this game could be won in the midfield, and I do think we've got the legs, the ability in the players like Souček and Rice to do what they need to do. The funny thing is, I've been calling for the last 2 weeks for Fornals to be rested, for a creative player to play against the likes of Sheffield United and Fulham. But this is the game where I think Fornals is needed, because we need a player to have the high work rate. So therefore, I wouldn't call for him to be rested. Now, when I'm saying this is the sort of thing where Moyes would rest them. It's just so typical. But I genuinely don't think Fornals should be rested for a game like today, because we do need the legs to work, because they have so many players that can do that. And we know that they've got defensive frailties. We know that. We do as well. But we're on the up with that. And maybe we can take advantage of that. So I do think they will score a goal, because I think, like you said, Matt, Ollie Watkins can get in behind the defence. And I think we've got, even though our defence is playing really well, I think they've still got the ability to be caught out back there. Albeit, I'm hold my hand up. Listen, Augie's having a fantastic season. And I do think a lot of credit needs to go to Balbuena, to be honest, because he's given that calmness in the back line, to be honest. And maybe the shift of formation as well, Matt. The shift in formation, which has brought Creswell slightly in, has given them all three a bit of support and given Creswell a whole new lease of life. But I think the battle will be won in the midfield by West Ham, and we'll push forward and hopefully get a couple of goals. And what I'd love to see, and I think every West Ham fan would love to see, is Haller get on the score sheet again, even if he just gets one goal. But I'm going to go for a brace, and then I'm going to go for a Creswell free kick special. Why not? Something a bit different. Can you still hear me, Matt?
Yep, sorry, yeah, there we go. Your last bit just dragged out on me. I was like, I need to sort this out when we get off. I don't know what is going on.
Yeah, no, that's fine, mate. No worries. Listen, we'll go to the comments, but we'll look at people's predictions. Neil, you're saying 3-2 West Ham. Toby Sampson, you're saying 3-2 Haller hat-trick. Lee's asking how many penalties would be in this match. Do you know what? This game has got that vibe about it, because there is creativity. There's players that work hard. There's players that drive the ball into the box. And you're fully expecting players like Augie, Balbuena, and Tyrone Mings to pull the opposition players down. And there could be, with the way the penalties have been given left, right, and centre, I could see that actually happening. Aiden, 2-0 win, West Ham, fingers crossed. My Augie man of the match. Jake, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. And I'll get in touch with you about coming back on for the Matchday Live when we're doing it. This is the puzzle. I want Benrahma to start and both of the wingers, but Benrahma has to slot in at some point, perhaps just give him a rest. We'll see. Interesting point, yeah. Anthony Jones, same side as versus Sheffield United. Antonio and Benrahma on last 15 minutes for Bowen and Fornals. The funny thing you're saying there, mate, is I wouldn't take Bowen off, even at any point. I think we're missing... No, but Matt, I think we're missing... I think he's a 90-minute footballer.
But that front three does sound tasty, though. Haller, Benrahma and Antonio.
But mate, we need to add Bowen to that. I don't know who else.
You got to change formation then.
Yeah, but if we need to go for it though, that's what you need to do. Jakes, you're saying another cheeky 1-0 win. Lee, you're saying 3-1 West Ham. Kieran's saying 1-1 for you. Ben Davis is saying West Ham 1, Villa 0. Bowen goal scorer. Wenskizer. Gray, you're saying 2 each. Haller, Noble, last minute penalty. Mr. Mark Noble. Fornals is the easy target for the Boo Boys. Bonnie, I'm not slagging him off, mate. I think he's having a fantastic season. I think there's a time and a place. I think he's a sort of player. This is where West Ham need to use squad rotation, in my opinion, that we're not so great at doing. We need to play Fornals for the games. We need work rate, and we need to play players like Benrahma where we need creativity. And I think that's for me.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, to be fair.
Yeah. Neil from Down Under, I've picked West Ham 3-0 for the last 2 games, and we've won both 1-0, so I'll stick to my 3-0 win prediction. Good on you, Neil. Good morning, afternoon, evening.
Morning, isn't it?
In Australia. Flame plays Villa 2-1, I think. Let's hope it's not. And Anthony Jones, there's loads more comments. Anthony Jones win 3-2. James Bond, great point. 1-0 to the Claret and Blue. It's a good point. But listen, thank you very much for watching us. But we'll quickly go up to the top if we can and see what people are saying. Dalek WHUFC, apparently we're the first team in the Prem to get fans back. Is that true? 2,000 fans. It's the first game that's going to be televised.
We have all televised, aren't they? I think it is the first. I think there's like a championship game before us or something, but I think we are the first Premier League game.
Yeah.
And
it's mad. I'm sorry I've not mentioned it, and I know Stell's going to go in depth about it tomorrow night about the fans being back, but get your comments in and let us know your thoughts on the fans being back. We've all read the information today, so there's already ruling out a shed loads of West Ham fans because, for example, I live in Scotland, so I can't travel, so I'm eliminated from the ballot. But on top of the fact is I've not actually paid for my full season ticket up front. I've paid the 30% deposit, therefore I'm ruled out from the ballot anyway. But if you had paid full money for your season ticket, you could have gone into the ballot only if you're in that. Because the confusing thing for me though, Matt, is do you have to be in the same tier?
Yeah, this is what
area.
This is what I don't think the Premier League even thought about, because I think most teams are doing. I think all the teams are doing ballots this year for like getting fans in, and I think a lot of Essex and Kent are tier 3. London's tier 2. So I think if you live in like the M25-ish, you're tier 2. You can travel to tier 2 and go to the game. But if you say you're season ticket holder, you live in Southend, or you live in Kent, Dartford, you can't go. I don't think you can go because I don't think you can go from tier 3 to a tier 2. So you might get selected and you can't go anyway. So I don't know how that's going to work.
I've got mixed opinions on it. I want fans back desperately. I want to be coming back. The more I think about it, I genuinely have no idea, Matt, when I'm going to be back watching West Ham play. Like, that's quite scary to think that thought. You'll be back before me because you're closer, and hopefully you don't fall within that tier system. And when fans start to go back, you'll be there. I'll be one of the last because I travel so far, and that scares me slightly because already I'm going to be a year come March. And it's going to.
I'm like you, mate. I paid for the option 3, so I'm not going back anytime soon.
Yeah,
I'm not going back this season.
Yeah, I can't get my head around it all. But
it's also weird, like in the fact that part of me thinks it should be everyone or no one.
Yeah.
Because it's not like fair enough in the lower leagues they need to get fans back as soon as possible because they need that ticket money. Championship, League 1, League 2, non-league, that they thrive on their weekly ticket money. But the Premier League, they're doing ballots on season ticket holders. They've already had the season ticket money. Like, they don't need the tickets. They don't need. They're not getting extra money. So it doesn't generate money for the Premier League teams.
Yeah.
And you already got the controversy of the fact that London and Manchester can have fans, but no one else can.
No one else can.
Yeah. So if we were playing away at Liverpool next week, you wouldn't be able to go. But then the week after, we're playing at home and you can go. Like,
yeah, it's an odd one, mate. It's an odd one.
It's a whole different topic. Leave that to Stel to discuss tomorrow. He can spend 3 hours talking about it.
Stu 77, even Chris said he's loving the new formation and feels like he's a better player. Absolutely, mate. Up the boys, happy hour podcast. Hope you're well. Jack mate 21 WHU. Jake saying hi, Jack. Ben Davis could be a bit early for Antonio, maybe. God, there's loads of comments. Good day, Jack. Jack mate saying hello. Antonio should start on the bench, maybe come off if needed for 20 minutes. Ken, like I said, is saying no, just the last 20. Yeah. Stu, West Ham unofficial, agree, half an hour. West Ham guys agree. Give Haller a chance, then bring Antonio with him, 60 minutes. Could see that. Could maybe, it'd be good just to give them a run out. Where's the Ben Rama fans today? I think we're all Ben Rama fans, to be honest. Or excited by what he could potentially bring.
He'll get his chance. We know that. It's just same way Moyes done it with Bowen. He'll eventually get his chance. Yeah,
absolutely, mate. Listen, there's so many comments, and we're bored. I did not think we would do an hour again, but we are there. We try. Let's have a look. Get it under. Let's see what people are saying about the tiers. Thurrock is in tier 2. So you'll be able to go, although am I correct in saying can you travel through tiers as well, like depending on where you live?
See, again, this is a thing, like I don't know if they thought about it, because technically if you were tier 3 and you drove to the game, you're probably safer than like me. I'm in tier 2 going to tier 2, but I'd have to go and get the DLR to Stratford, so I'm getting on public transport.
Well, this is the thing.
If you're from Thurrock and you're driving into London, you're in a car, you're not seeing anyone.
So when Skies, the point here, when Skies is saying he's from Hertfordshire travelling to the game, because he's in the same tier,
I can go, yeah.
But he can be public transport. So let's just say, for talking's sake, you can be in Manchester and you can be in the same tier. Can you travel to London being in the same tier?
I don't know. If
you have to travel through other
the
tiers.
Premier League are just making up their own rules, aren't they? They're making it up as they go along.
Yeah. Should wait until all clubs are allowed to have fans back. What's the point if you can't shout or sing?
I think they said you can sing, I think.
Through your mask.
But yeah, you can't hug. Yeah. You got masks the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's agreeing with you, John. All fans should get to go, but it's not fair for teams if they're not all being treated fairly.
No.
Fairly. I wouldn't want to go to an empty stadium. It wouldn't be the same. I mean, I'm desperate. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, in fairness, I don't think any normal fans are going to go for this game anyway. Are they? Surely.
Yeah. People are saying it gives London clubs. People are saying it gives London clubs the advantage with fans.
It doesn't really, though, does it? I mean, not being funny. It's only 2,000 fans, isn't it? It's only tier 1's 4,000, and the only place in tier 1's Cornwall. So no Premier League teams down there.
Matt, we're going to call it quits for the night.
Because we can keep going on about this this is a whole different debate.
Keep on all night. Make sure you join Stell tomorrow night for his West Ham Weekly. Monday, we're coming to you live with a Match Day Live. We'll be on a good solid hour and a bit before the game, talking about team news. We'll be giving you Match Day commentary on the game against Aston Villa. Fingers crossed we can walk away with the 3 points. We have, we'll do a review show straight after that. And then we will hopefully, I'm trying my best to get the new show launched, but timings and work and everything's taken over. So it's proven a little bit difficult. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think there is, but I can't think off the top of my head. My head's lost. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. If you are watching right now and you've not hit that subscribe button, please hit the subscribe button. If you are watching and you've not hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. It gives us a good bit of support. Let us know your comments and thoughts on our previews as well. And next week, hopefully, we'll be back for the preview the night before the game, and we'll go from there. Matt, anything you want to say before you go?
No, that's it, mate.
Right, cool. Listen, everyone, thanks very much for watching. And yeah, we'll see you on the other side, which will be Monday night. And then make sure you tune in tomorrow night for Stell's West Ham Weekly. I'm Anton. He's Matt. This is Irons United. West Ham, Irons United. Come on, you Irons.